Alright, we're back. Let's do this. Mobius trip. What's going on? Oh, they're blind. Something enormous just appeared on the radar. You're blind, you can't oh, wait. Okay. Someone get help. I don't know why it happened to me too. Well, I'm not gonna join in. Oh, job done. Right then. Oh, wait. What's going on? Cardin, what do we do? Okay, what's going on?
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Okay, I'm trying to be honest, but I don't know the creator well enough to be honest for him. Okay, I'm here. Let's be honest. Okay, I can't keep making these. Yes. I'm out of ideas.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out.
What do you mean by
After
desperate?
this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
What does he mean by desperate? If there's a background noise you can hear, it's my pet hedgehog. He's running on a very squeaky wheel. Okay. Hello? Oh. Welcome to the island. Hello? Is there anybody there? I'm completely out of ideas. If I'm honest, then it'll keep getting in the way, and I'm not going to make a Uganda Knuckles reference there either. There was a machine that kept me going, and it stopped. I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me and start it again. Yeah. Go left. Always go left. You know where it is. It isn't far. There can't be ocean up here. This can't be ocean. This is a bathtub.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore.
Because she got it.
Why? What is it for?
That's life.
Because from my
It's
perspective
that
at the
easy.
time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with.
Oh,
He
I
had
know
no
that.
outlet to ground himself on.
He did what he knew, and you do it repeatedly because that's all you know. Trust me on that one, buddy. Sometimes it's easier just to do the same thing day in, day out as a creature of habit than it is to try and approach new things, especially when you don't have any idea where to start. Well, that's what you're supposed to think anyway. I mean, there's obviously better ways to do stuff. First, you have to open the door. Okay. And then you have to... now you have to close the first door. And then you have to do that switch. Yeah, boy, you did
can't
it.
Talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way.
Well, it's not.
You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation.
He's right.
If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
The narrator seems angry at this dude, but it's like, you have to understand that sometimes with depression and stuff, you can't just like go, it's that easy. Because it's not about that. The person with depression has to believe absolutely that that is going to fix them. And it's got to be a change inside themselves before it's a change outside themselves. This is his method of recovery anyway. This isn't talking to himself, this is talking to inside of his brain. So talking to yourself helps you believe in yourself. So talk to yourself that does create movement, but what you say has got to be what you believe. You can't just say, ooh, the sky is green, the sky is green, the sky is green, and then you believe the sky is green. It's about making sure that what you believe to yourself is absolute. And that'll get you through a temporary gap, but it won't be, it's not a long-term fix. You know? That's the way the depression works.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me.
You goddamn wrong,
I
dude.
was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
This is what it's all about, though.
This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
So this is the way I kind of work with my kind of inner problems. I don't really ask people for help, I don't really talk about my problems, but I internalize everything and I churn it over in 1,000 different ways. And you know what? Sometimes it works, but for bigger things it doesn't work, and you do need to find help. But for minor problems, it does work. It does. But you gotta have the right state of mind, and everybody's designed to do it that way. This was this designer's way of internalizing his thoughts, ruminating them, maturing them, making them into something that he could deal with. And the narrator's angle is, yeah, he cares about the designer. He does, but he's frustrated in the designer because of what he's creating. But it's like, this is the byproduct of his recovery, you know? You can't be angry at someone getting better. It's just everyone develops in different ways. Let's go in this place and see what happens. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be brutal. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. So this is anthropomorphizing himself into this design.
And of course, it's the machine.
This is him talking to himself. These aren't followers. Now I can either destroy the machine or I can destroy the games. The byproducts of recovery or his drive to create. That's a tough moral decision if you think about it. You know, on one hand, obviously these games are a method of recovery. And there's the option here. I don't know if this option follows through, I forgot. But it's this option here basically says you can either destroy his creativity outright or destroy what made him better. I mean, that's just a brutal method. I'm gonna press both number 1 and number 2 at the same time and see which one goes. Because yeah, it's a bad moral decision either way. It's lose-lose. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. That's how we're destroying the games. Instead of following me on my own. I'm just the guy. That floor's crazy. Okay. Take that, creepy floor.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It's
not about the
him out of
games.
isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him?
No.
If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would
This
it
man
bring
is
meaning
so
back into his work?
desperate to force recovery. It is tantamount to cruelty on the behalf of the designers, you know?
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all is just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
That's not what he's scared of. He's scared of himself. It's the delusion of the narrator. He thinks he's helping him. He's not. By exposing his inner workings to people that he doesn't know, that's just really cruel. That's like showing a private note that you've left for someone to everybody. You know? You've been entrusted with these. This is his way of showing you, look, I am doing stuff. I'm doing it my own way, but I'm doing it. And you just go, I'm going to show everybody how you're doing stuff your own way. You're like, you could have showed everybody. He could have done it himself, but he didn't because he trusted the narrator. And he screwed up.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do?
No.
Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need. To be told that my work is good. That I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good. Like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Bloody vanity is what it is. People do it all the time. It's that same thing with Facebook, where people post the little flag over their faces.
So anyway,
oh, look how good
Coda
I am.
finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while.
She did something shitty
So this
to him.
is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Bloody extroverts. Alright.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, The Tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
I'm not that much of a masochist where I'd actually feel my way through the entire invisible maze. I don't have that in me.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever.
There you go.
Put it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end.
Sometimes
But
it's just...
that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
This dude's just... It's very vain.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
I'll tell you what it was. He sent this game to you, so you had to try and understand and think about what you've done, because the message was in the journey, but you didn't. You didn't get the point, my dude.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem.
It's not your problem to fix. Oh, getting hungry.
I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem.
It's not...
But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
I'm gonna lose my rag with this dude.
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why.
Failure is a good teacher.
I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is.
It's because you revered
It wasn't
them.
the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
That's a nice pink.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy.
Oh.
It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me.
Ah,
But he
projection.
stopped and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed.
Well, you did fail. You didn't deal with yourself as a person. Because you're a shitty person. I don't want to swear too much on this video, but
Where did I screw up?
you're a shitty person. That's what you did. You tried to revere someone to the point where you wanted to... You projected all of your problems onto this one guy. Here we go. Look at this. There we go. You've been told.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
choked him out. You screwed it up.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
It's vain. It's vanity. It's terrible. If there was an answer and meaning, would it make you any happier? Would you stop taking my games and sharing them to people against my wishes, giving them something that is not yours to give, violating that one boundary that keeps me safe? He did the old Reddit switcheroo. He was adding his own gaffs to stuff and be like, hey, I helped make this. God, that's the lowest... yeah.
And then you stopped. And I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
That means that you're a person that has no self-worth. Your personality and who you are is measured by the people around you, and you should be made yourself. You build yourself. The people around you help you be who you are. You don't let the people around you build you. Low points are just part of the process. Hell yes. This coder dude knows what it is. You're not my problem to solve. That's it right there. But I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with this thing that you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything. I always say that the weight of a person's character is measured by the company that they keep, but that character has to be your character. It can't be some perception of who you are that has been...
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work.
Which is the wrong thing.
Because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry.
I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please. I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me.
Yeah.
Can I apologize?
No.
What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
I am so happy there's no one in my life like that, because I would actually burn them alive. No, I wouldn't. That's a horrible person. That is a horrible person. They're misguided by their own visions. It's terrible idealism or whatever it is. I don't know. But yeah. What was I saying? Screw it. Don't be that guy. That's it. That's simply it. Don't be that guy. Because if you are that guy... I feel like I've been arguing with this narrator from the start a little bit. You know? You don't want to be that guy. Anybody who just...
More.
You don't want to be a
love,
fun vacuum.
More praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
External validation is not a good thing. People lie. They'll tell you that, they don't believe it. I'm guessing I've got to... Game narrative says I've got to get on the red train. Yeah. This is a nice character. There's no windows. Oh.
Solution.
That's a tremendous transition. A lot of people these days just kind of fill the void with other things, and it's kind of sad to see that
I guess
happen.
if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate.
He's not desperate.
I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Maybe you're a bit of a dick. Dick. Nice mobile flow.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you. If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be?
Personal fulfillment and being happy for who you are.
It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable.
God, I don't know.
Like,
how it
I
could be like
actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
It's called, like... It's the equivalent of, like, when you finish a hard day's work and your feet hurt, but you go home and you sit down and you think, God damn, I'm going to sleep well tonight. No one's told you you've done a hard day's work. You've told yourself, because you've done that. You know... It's fulfillment in your own soul. I can't imagine being so vain where I just have to keep constantly asking people. I used to be like that, but it's part of growing up. It's part of getting older. It's just
I think I need to go.
You start.
And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you need to grow up.
I have a lot that I need to make up for.
You need to go.
So I'm
You need to go and get older.
just gonna...
Find a slice of water. What?
Okay.
Yeah, as I was saying, I used to be like that when I was younger. I used to be... I needed constant reaffirming that what I was doing was the right thing. And I mean like in work. Or I needed someone to give me their opinion on something because their opinion mattered more than my opinion. But yeah, I kind of got to the point where I was like, why do I need that though? You know? Why does it matter what somebody else thinks? They don't have to go home and they don't have to fall asleep and wake up and be there for me and then tell me, oh, you had a good night's sleep. Oh, your breakfast looked delicious. I don't need that. I'm me. That's you. That's all you got to do. You got to be the guy or the gal. You got to be that person. You got to be the person that you want to be. And if you see someone that you want to be like, don't try and emulate them. You know, you look at what makes them who they are, and then you take that and you think, how can I make that a part of me? Don't just like, oh well, you know, I look like Jack Black a little, so I guess I'll just learn guitar and get a two-man duo band going and then get an acting career. It's just not how it works. You know, Jack Black's a funny guy. Learn how to be funny, learn some jokes. You learn to play the guitar if you want, but you don't have to be Jack Black. You could be you who plays guitar. The all singing, all dancing, whole you. I'm gonna jump down this hole now because this game's got a really shitty narrator. So yeah. If anybody ever watches these videos, I'm gonna put them all up, but if anybody ever watches these videos, there's one thing you can take away from this game is just people have different ways of coping with depression, grief, loss, insecurities, anxiety, everything. People have different ways of dealing with it, and you know, no one besides you knows you as well as you know you, if that makes sense. And you gotta patch yourself up, because sometimes people won't be able to know what's going on inside your head. They'll ask you what's wrong, and your gut reaction is just to go, oh, I'm fine, I'm good. But you're not, because you need to sort it out. But some people, they don't sort it out, and they stagnate, and they rot from the inside out. You don't want to rot from the inside out. It's horrible, because then what happens is you start taking it out on other people around you. It's not a good thing. The coder saw himself as a machine, and it's that whole thing of a machine, when it has a problem, stops working instantly. If something, you know, and then what happens is someone external comes in and fixes it. Your brain is like a machine, but sometimes we don't all have the great mechanic. Sometimes we have to be the mechanic for our own machines, and we have to find the problem out, and we have to fix it the best we can until we get somewhere. Throw some duct tape on there and just keep going until you can. You know? You just gotta be you, and be the best you that you can be, and you don't have to be for anybody else but yourself, because you're born alone, you die alone. That's just the way it is. It's cruel reality. This has been a game. This has been an experience. I forgot all of this. I was sleep deprived at the time. So the first time around I was barely paying attention, but this time around it really mattered. I'm glad I came back to this. And I'm glad that whoever's watching was along for the ride. And I hope it's been alright. Because if not, then... I don't care, because this game teaches you about how external validation can be a really shitty thing. So I think I did a pretty good job for my first ever YouTube series of Let's Play a Beginner's Guide. And this looks like the end of Hellraiser 1. I think it's Hellraiser 1. It's beautiful though. And loud. Okay, it's probably going to be hurting some people's eyes, so let's look at the sunset. There we go. Cool.
Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles.
No, I don't want to get a copyright strike.
And you're so
So I hate to cut this off early. But it's a beautiful song.
I know that you're strong.
Is that it?
So turn back. Turn back.
I can't actually skip it. Oh god. Oh. Ooh. Ah. Oh, thank God for that. Okay. So now we've done the beginner's guide. There you go. I'm glad that I got through this again. It was a bit of an emotional journey this time around, and hopefully some of the knowledge that I imparted is not completely misguided and insane and the ramblings of a madman. And I hope it turns out good. I know that the audio is going to be a bit loud. My voice might be a bit too quiet. Overall, it might be too loud overall. If it is, I'm sorry. But screw it. I'm Gorilla. I'm raw. But yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it. It's been a pleasure playing it. I hope you like it anyway. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a bit.